Hello, and welcome back to Rails Quest. Today, we're going to talk about how to get paid in your Rails app. That's right. We're going to look at a gem that makes it easy to integrate payment processors into your app and get you paid for all your hard work building your Rails application. So let's take a quick look at the gem that we're going to look at today. The gem is simply called Pay. Should be easy to remember this when you want to reach for integrating payments into your Rails app and you're wondering, what gem should I use? Okay, the Pay gem. It's on the Pay Rails organization on GitHub. So here's the documentation for it, and we're not going to spend too long looking at that because I want to get to the good part of demonstrating how it works and the actual code that I use to integrate this into a Rails app of mine recently. But here's a quick overview. A bunch of payment processors it supports. The one that I'm using today is Stripe, and there's a whole lot of configuration and customization that you can do with the app, but the app abstracts over most of the challenging parts of integrating with a payment processor. It's not so much that it's difficult in concept, it's just a lot of busy work. You've got to store customer IDs and stuff, and where are you going to put that? Are you going to design your database model this way or that way? Well, they've taken a lot of the guesswork out of that for us. It comes with models, so when you install it, it's going to add some migrations to your application and create those models or tables in the database for you, and it's going to store the metadata for Stripe for you. It's going to handle webhooks, and we'll look at that today also. So you don't have to implement the webhooks yourself, it's going to do that for you. The list is really a robust list of things that it handles for you, and I'm going to show you just a few lines of code that I used to add Stripe support to my Rails app. And I used a feature of Stripe called Stripe Checkout, which I don't even have to write the code for the payment page or for the billing page. It's all built into Stripe for me, so it's very convenient. If you had multiple apps that you wanted to integrate, you just have to be doing the same work every time. So you want to use a gem like this to reduce the busy work there. So now we're going to take a look at this app. So I have an app that allows you to purchase credits that you can use to do cool stuff in the app. We're not going to worry too much about exactly what the app does right now. Right now, I just want to show you how the billing works. How does it integrate with Stripe and confirm that the customer paid and then do whatever logic needs to happen once the customer has paid. There's just a step that I need to do before I can demonstrate how this works for you. We need to set up Stripe to listen to our webhook. So we need this secret here. And we're just going to set that secret right here for now. So now our app should be hooked up to Stripe. I'm just going to enter some test card data. As you can see, it doesn't much matter what you put in here. Okay, now we have 100 credits. So what all happened there? You saw that I went to another page. If I click this again, you'll see we're off of my app now. We're on the actual Stripe checkout page. If I go back to my app, you can see the URL is vidtweet.test. That's my local Rails app. So if we go back over to where we told Stripe to listen to webhooks, we're telling Stripe with this command to listen to webhooks and forward those webhook requests to our application running locally. And in the output, you can see what exactly the webhooks were that it sent. We have charge succeeded, payment intent succeeded, all these different things, and they were sent as posts to my Rails app. If I look at routes, we can see I don't have any of those routes in my application. So all of that came from the PayGem. So here's a very simplistic way to generate a checkout link that you can then use in your view as a regular link that will send your customer to the Stripe checkout page. And then you can set the place that it will send your user back to when they're done checking out. So I have here the success URL is the root URL and the cancel URL is back to the page that you were on. And you set all this other data here. Set the quantity, the currency, all that good stuff. So let's go to the view. Once again, what we're looking at here is a simple link to the checkout session URL right here. This is the important part. So remember, we've assigned checkout session instance variable to be the result of this call to current.user.paymentprocessor.checkout. And then in here, we just ask for the URL from that object. From that point, it's out of your hands. You don't have to build the billing page that you see here. Stripe already has it built for you. And they support all the different payment methods, and your user has all that good stuff. But what happens after that? So you already saw that we're giving it where to go back to. So it knows to send the users back to your app. It's going to send back to the root URL of the app in this case on success. But what happens after that? That's where the webhooks come into play. So you see we have checkout session completed, charge succeeded, all that good stuff. Let's take a look at the initializer that I added. Just going to distribute this across some lines to make it easier to look at and demonstrate. So this is all spelled out in the documentation, but you can set up webhook listeners so that you can hook your own custom logic into the flow. So when the checkout session is completed or when the async payment is succeeded, we're going to, in either case, delegate to this fulfill checkout object, which is my own model in my application. So let's go there. So the API is very simple. You implement call on this class and it will pass an event into it. And then you can do whatever logic you need to do. You can check and make sure that the payment status is paid. Then you can ask the customer to increment and add their credits. So in this case, I had added metadata to the payment, the checkout link. You can see increment credits by, and I'm using that same piece of metadata to add credits. And that's what happened in the app. They got 100 credits. And that is really the extent of it. You still need to know about Stripe and be able to set up an account or Lemon Squeezy or any of those other good things. But those have good documentation and they walk you through the steps of how to get API credentials. And also the payment gem has detailed documentation for how to set this stuff up. And you can see there's a step about how to get credentials. It has great documentation, very detailed. One thing I will tell you is if you want to know about checkout, you'd have to go almost to the end of this. And that's what I showed off today. And it really is one of the simplest ways to implement this. It doesn't allow you much customization, but it's just about the simplest way to get paid in your Rails application. And that's why I'm showing it off today. So you'll have to skip all the way down to this step. And again, there's a warning that you need to set up webhooks in order for Stripe checkout to work because your application isn't the one initiating the charge, right? It's sending you to Stripe. But that seems pretty okay to me because the PayGem already implements the webhooks. And as you see, it was very easy to hook into and customize the logic that happens on checkout. That is my lightning fast overview of the PayGem, and I showed you all the code that was required to set that up. All you've got to do is install the gem and follow their steps. Then after that, I've showed you all the code that I needed to actually implement payments into my app. So I'm excited to see what y'all build and get paid for using the PayGem. If you do, let me know. I'd be happy to accept donations. If you would like to send a tip my way if you get paid because of this video, that would be awesome, but it is not required. Anyway, with that, I hope you have a blessed week. Please like and subscribe, share the videos with people who you think would find them useful, and I'll see you again next time.